And welcome to the Writer's Life, place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life, where you get the truth about the writer's life. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button. Tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on one single exciting video. Go to vinzandri.com. The Hitchhiker is brand new, hot off the press. Special introductory price for a very limited time, and it's doing very well. Coming to you from inside because I don't know. It's a beautiful day out. I should be outside, but work. If that's what you want to call it. Wanted to touch upon something today. If you are not publishing as much as possible, you're missing out. Why do I say that? Back when I started 25 years ago, and I got, the big ass advance and all that stuff. I remember my editor at the time, and I was only like 32 or something, and very impressionable, very immature, the whole bit. And, I was so immature that I assumed that once you had a publisher, you had a publisher for life, right? Which was wrong. But anyway, he's like, oh, quit your job, and like at the same time, take a break from the writing. Take a break. And I thought, well, that's very strange. I was immature, but I wasn't that immature. I kind of saw, like, there was a little chink in the armor right there. I was like, why is he telling me to take a break? I'm a writer. That's what I do. I worked hard at writing my first book. That's why I'm here, in New York City with the getting the red carpet treatment and all that sort of stuff. And so, I had a whole bunch of story ideas I wanted to get out there and all that. But then he's like, well, look, we're only going to publish like a book, at best, a book a year from you. So, and there was no independent publishing at that time. This is 99 or so. No independent publishing, no other avenue but the traditional avenue. And if you put a book out on your own, you're a total loser. Yep. So that was it. You went traditional, and you went traditional big, or you really didn't go anything at all. The only reason you'd go with a small press is maybe because you were a college professor or a high school teacher or something like that. But that was it. So anyway, fast forward a couple years, I'm also publishing with this kind of maverick indie press. And they were like, this is when the indie movement had just started taking off. And they were like using that model. And they were like, yeah, publish as much as you want. And I was like, oh, finally, or whatever. But then I still found myself in the position where I was giving up 50% of my profits. And on top of that, 15% was going to my agent. So I was still left with just 35% or so. Which, even at 35%, I was taking home checks of like $18,000 and stuff like that. Because, curiously enough, one of the books that Delacorte published that didn't go anywhere and had a shitty title attached to it, I got the rights back for. They called it As Catch Can, which was stupid. And I'm not knocking my editor. He's a great guy. And we were in a band together and all that. I'm knocking the process. So I changed it back to The Innocent, which was the original title. And it sold, as I've said before, it sold over 100,000 copies in 4 weeks, right? So that got the attention of the big boys again, and I get these big advances again, and the whole bit. And I'm still in traditional land. And I'm still like one book a year. And I'm still, or back to it anyway, back to the one book a year. And suddenly I find my agent even saying, like, take a break. Take a break. I'm like, I don't want to take a break. I want to put out as much material as I can, And like, you're not going to be able to. There's non-compete clauses here, and legally you can't. So I was like, oh, all right. I was like, that is just backwards. It's just as whacked. Shouldn't I be putting out as much material as possible so that my fans just look forward to it and buy it? Just makes business sense. So I start doing exactly that. I ignore the compete clauses and I start publishing with a ton of publishers, and I start publishing on my own and all this sort of stuff. And eventually, the publishers get pissed and they're just like, "Wow, you're spreading yourself too thin." I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I see these opportunities here, and I'm going to take them, and I'm prolific, so I'm going to do that. Because I mean, like, look at like do you think a surgeon like does one surgery a year and then like takes the rest of the year off? Do you think an airline pilot, commercial airline pilot, flies one overseas flight and then, well, I think I'll take the rest of the year off because I need it? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You work every day, like. Or if I were working for say it was like the old days, like the 50s, and when Paramount and all those companies, 20th Century Fox, would hire writers to work on scripts all the time. You were expected to show up at the studio and write for 8 hours a day. That was your job, and you were paid well for it. That was a cream job back in the day. Now, TV and movies don't pay like they used to, but in any case, so that's my attitude. Like, I'm like working for Bear Media, and it's not work. I love doing it. If I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't do it. I probably would do the one book a year, but I love doing it. I lust publication, and I got to tell you, the fruits of my labor show with not only the numbers I'm moving, but with the amount of money I'm making across many different platforms. So I'm way ahead of my traditional books that are out there, the new ones or whatever, like way ahead of them. So I mean, the writing's on the wall, right? I mean, it's the writing, no pun intended. The writing is, the message is right in front of me. Don't take a break. Take a break to like get on a plane and travel and all that sort of stuff, and that's your break. You don't need to, It's kind of like, for me anyway. It's kind of like the what does Jim Harrison said this once. What does a fly fishing guide do on his day off? He goes fly fishing. Let that sink in. All right, you guys. I will talk to you soon, and have a great weekend. And ciao, ciao.